Hey quilters, this is Sarah from Snugglebug Stitching, and today I have a tutorial for you on a specific quilting design, the double C design. So here we are looking at my scrappy version of my Sarah Elizabeth quilt pattern where I did some double C's so that you see how they look. Now this particular tutorial is about this specific design, so just know that I do have a blog post on free motion quilting in general, as far as like some tips for stitch length control, tension control, and just some tips with getting started. Now, one thing that I found helpful when I first started free motion quilting was drawing it out on some notebook paper first. So we're going to come over here, and first I'm going to show you more what you would think of for traditional double C's. Mine over here are a little bit different, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. So traditionally with double C's, we're going to make a C, then echo back all the way around, and then make a C in the other direction and echo all the way around. And we'll just kind of alternate directions. And if you get stuck or you want to change directions, you can echo back an extra time. So drawing this on notebook paper is going to help you as far as getting your brain used to the size and shape of the design that you want to do. Now this particular design, you see it's kind of limited in the direction I can go. So if I want to come down here, I need to do a little bit more echoing, and that's fine, but it's a little limited in the directions you can go and not quite as easy to wiggle around. So because of that, the more I did this and the faster I got with free motion quilting, the appearance of these double C's that I made started to change. So now it looks more like this. Draw my C, stop at the point, and then I don't echo nearly as far. Now, if you ever need to echo farther because you got stuck or whatever, you definitely can. The nice thing about freehand is, since none of them look exactly the same, one that's different is not going to stand out. It's not going to look weird in your quilt. But without echoing as far, which is what I do now, you see it's a lot easier for me to wiggle around and change directions if I want to. And drawing this is just kind of getting my brain used to the size that I'm going for. And it'll also give you a feel for what it's like on your quilt when you're free motion, because you're really just, with just about any design, wiggling around and filling up the space. And the nice thing about this design is, once you have mastered this design and can do this one easily, it's going to be a lot easier for you to pick up on other designs, like for example spirals. So if I did the full echo C like that, that's very similar to how I do a spiral, except I just come in farther. And if you want to make a spiral with tails, you just give it sort of a question mark shape. So once you learn this double C design, which I feel like is a really easy design to wiggle around the quilt, the others come a little easier too. And everybody talks about stipples as being the easiest design to learn, and stipples is a good one to start with, but I feel like double C's are super easy to learn too, because we have, when I do this double C, I have a good stopping point for if I need to readjust my hands. So if I stop right there, even when I'm drawing it, and then I try to finish it out, it's a little harder to start smoothly from a curve, as opposed to where if I stop right here, readjust my hands, come back to it, it's easier to restart smoothly. So let's get to our machine and I'll go over the double C's with you. All right, so I've got some extra bobbins wound, machines threaded, bobbin thread is in. This thread is Missouri Star Quilt Company, and it is their 50 weight cotton quilting thread, and the color is plum. Okay, so we're ready to get started quilting. We're going to start in the middle of our quilt, and I'm going to start in this purple piece because it matches the thread really, really well. So first thing we do is bring the bobbin thread to the top, and then thread that through. If you don't bring it to the top, it'll make a bird's nest on you. And you want to put your needle down close to the spot where that thread is coming out. And put my foot down. We're going to sew a few stitches in place and holding on to this thread so it doesn't pull up and knot on us. And we'll get started sewing some double C's. So you're going to make a C. And when you get to a point, this is a great place to stop and readjust your hands if you need to. You'll echo backwards a little bit. And how far back you echo just depends on which direction you want to go. And then we're going to make another C going in the opposite direction. And echo back a little bit. And keep doing that. So now that we're zoomed out, you can see the whole picture of me quilting this, and this is a really easy one to wiggle your way around the quilt with. So right here, if I wanted to stop and readjust my hands, that point is a great place to do it because it's a lot easier to restart smoothly from a point than it is from a curvy part of your design. so that's some double C's, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. Okay, so this quilt is quilted, covered in the double C's. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial.